Hello, welcome to Real Estate 360, and this is Steve Conley, one of your hosts, and the other
is Jason O. Miles.
Jason O. Miles. Hey, listen, Jason O. Miles, I got a question for you. I came in today, a little bit more dressed up than normal.
Well, I'm loving it, man. I mean, I love the looks that you bring to this mundane event that we do on a weekly basis.
Well, this is definitely not mundane, but this is in response to, we do our seminars on Saturday, right?
Right.
So this is in response to a comment that was made to one of our volunteers that comes in, and she helps us with registration, camera work, and all kinds of stuff. And she said, you know what? You guys do an awesome job with the information, but you need to up your game a little bit.
And what does she mean, up your game?
Well, that's what I was wondering. I thought we were doing pretty good. She said, no, you're doing great over there, but, you really should dress a little better, I mean, we're, there in our blue jeans and, whatever shirt, we happen to grab. And because that's what we do. I mean, that's what we wear,
right.
It's part of the lifestyle.
Right.
And so she said, well, you guys need to dress up a little bit because people will react differently to you, and you act different when you're in a suit and tie and all that. So here I am. I've got my tie on.
I like the tie. And again, for those that are listening and not watching, you have to go and check out the YouTube channel to see what you are
flashing light.
Yeah, it's something, it's bright. But it works. It works. It's truly red carpet worthy.
Thank you.
It is. I love it. I love it. And what do they call in that woman? You gotta wear your bling. How many pieces of bling did you bring with you today?
I don't, man. Listen. You've seen some of the stuff I have. I don't even put this in the category of bling. You haven't seen my bling yet.
Wait a minute.
It's coming.
I saw the grill.
Yeah, that's kind of part of the bling.
It's not the whole thing, though.
This is not bling. The bling is coming.
All right. I can't wait to see the rest of it.
Yeah.
Now, that's the tie that we have to have at the next event.
Okay, you got it.
Got to do it.
Sure.
It's a conversation piece, to say the least.
But you know what? This show is about real estate. It's not about, attire and, and ties and all that. But, hey, we got to have some fun. It's a lifestyle.
And you can't do it without it, man. Otherwise, you're really going to hate what you do, and nobody wants to do that. That's why they're listening, right?
I guess, And, I got up this morning, I'm thinking, I don't know what is really going to happen today, but it's going to be fun,
right.
And I don't know how many people can get up and say that to themselves or anybody else, like it's the same old thing.
Because a lot of people are going to say, and I'm guilty of this as well, when you get involved in something that you're excited about initially and you realize, okay, it's the same thing every day. It's get up, market, answer the phone, negotiate, look at this property, make an offer. When you look at it from that perspective, it really can be mundane, and it is deal for deal. You make money on this deal. In order to make more money, you got to go do another deal, and so on and so forth. But for me, and I'm pretty sure for you, the pleasure is in the negotiating, because every deal's not the same, because you're dealing with people.
Exactly.
It's
the negotiating, it's the unknowns, it's exploring the unknowns, and that's really what life is about, right?
Yeah, that's right.
If we came down, into the planet and we just knew what it was going to happen, every step of the way, what would be the point?
That's right. It would be pretty boring. And the reality of it is, every one of these deals that we do is totally different. We're doing deals that, from the multifamily side with operators that are, just totally absent. They don't want to be there, or they're the slumlord. On the single family side, when we're buying houses from people in various situations, it could be bankruptcy, foreclosures, divorces, all these things. And we have to be mindful of the person's situation while we're trying to negotiate, so that we can have a fair transaction,
Absolutely.
And that's really what it's about. And, we've had a few of those things occur just in this week. We've had two of those three things, actually.
I think we have. And I'm going to bounce off of what you just said, which was really, we're only here for one reason. I mean, this is a free market economy.
Correct.
And
at least that's what they tell us.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Mostly, semi.
Yeah.
Anyway, So we'll just operate from the point of view that we're in a free market society, and we'll, from our little microcosm of economics, let's just go with that.
Yeah.
So the only reason that we should or could exist in this economy is if there's a reason for us to be here.
Mm.
So what's that reason? We're problem solvers.
That's right.
We're real estate problem solvers, and sometimes it's life problem solvers, like you said, divorce or financial situation or bankruptcy or what have you. So we solve problems, and we make money at it, and we're pretty darn good at it. But we listen.
Yeah, and we learn every day.
Yeah.
With every person we meet, there's just a ton of different things coming at us, and with every person we meet, the world gets a little smaller,
doesn't it? Though,
we get. We get referrals from people we worked with, years ago.
Yeah.
That are saying, hey, I wanted to, introduce so-and-so to you because they're in a situation similar to mine and you helped us out. And that is the priceless aspect of marketing. You can't get that. You can't buy that. It's impossible to buy.
And, some stuff that's happened to us recently, which is we've sold houses, and then people who think they want to do renovations find out, this isn't really what I thought it was. It's not like it is on television.
Yeah.
It's a lot different than what you might see on, TV, whatever.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't even know the shows because I don't watch them. I can't handle any more
That's right.
of that. But so we've been buying those. Sometimes we'll buy those back.
That's right. We'll sell people properties. They'll get in a situation, whether it's a permitting situation, whether there was a cost overrun that they were not familiar with or aware of, which happens quite frequently in the fix and flip business.
I don't think I've ever, maybe once or twice. I've only been doing this for 35 years.
Yeah.
Or so it could happen. Been on budget on a renovation.
Yeah.
Where do you stop with those things? I can keep on going until it.
That's right. People. We teach, and everyone actually teaches. Make sure you have a contingency in place. You want to make sure that there's a 10% contingency or a 5% contingency. Well, depending on the cost of your renovation, 5 or 10% may not be enough for the issue. For instance, we had a property which we're still renovating, where the city came in and we were doing an addition to this property, and there were two major issues that came up.
Right.
The first issue that came up was when we were disassembling the house, because we had to disassemble it instead of demo it so that we could keep everything in place for the addition. The floor in one of the rooms needed to be replaced because it was just shot. The floor joists were gone. The band in that corner was gone, and it was the very front corner of the house.
Mm-hmm.
The crawl space is, I think, 9 inches or 12 inches deep. Very difficult for a guy to crawl under there. And as I say all the time, I'm not going to be that guy.
Right. No,
right?
you're not.
But it's something that would be very difficult to find. And the rot behind the wall, which was termites from years and years of, neglect, right?
Yeah.
But here's a situation that just that by itself was an $8,000 increase in changing all that, reframing all that. That by itself, which was nearly the 10% that we had.
Oh, yeah.
Then the city came out and said, you know what? We don't want this front roof that you guys are attaching.
Yeah.
It's not up to code, so you got to take it down and rebuild it. And there's another $14,000. Now, you can't account for that.
No, you sure can't.
It's impossible, especially after they'd already inspected the property and approved the plans. Yes, can you go back and gripe to the city? You sure can, but how long is that going to take you, and how much is it going to cost you to do it? Right. So it's better to simply just fix it because they're going to make you do it anyway. So, again, you just can't account for those things. You just have to be prepared for the unexpected.
Absolutely.
Just know it's going to happen. Something is going to happen. It might not be that significant, but
so that's what makes it exciting, right?
Yeah, that's exciting. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you're scratching your head like, where am I going to come up with $14,000 more for this thing, right?
Yeah.
Because ultimately, we want to make money.
Sure.
And the money that our companies make, we don't want to have to necessarily go back into our personal bank accounts and throw CapEx, capital X expenses into that account.
No, we don't.
To cover that, although it happens sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's not what we want to occur.
No, it's not.
But it's the nature of the beast. It is just the nature of the beast. And when we're walking down the path of our perceived goal, because it changes.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, yeah.
You
Sure
know,
does.
when we're walking down the path to get to that goal, things are going to happen, and you're going to realize what your tolerance levels are for one thing or the other. Like early on, I realized I am horrible at managing properties, as managing rental properties personally. I'm horrible at it.
Really, I haven't actually seen that.
And you'll never see it.
Because I haven't seen you with any rental property.
Not those kind.
But you know what? I am not really good at that either.
Oh, I'm horrible at it.
And it's not that I couldn't be good at it, because I think I could be really good at it, because, you know, I have Alvin on my side. If I need him, I go get him.
It's the alter ego guy.
That's right. And I've used him on a few rental situations, but usually that's when people hire me to help them with their I've got a belligerent tenant or something. I'll go down there and, you know, just, hey, let me show you. Let me go get Alvin for you, and I'll show you how to get him out. And so rental properties are something that we don't want to do, but we're doing multifamily. But that's
Absolutely.
a little different.
It is, because we have third-party management in place. We have processes in place. So we're not managing the property per se. We're managing the manager.
Yeah.
Which requires, you know, 1 or 2 telephone calls a week and the receiving of a check once a month.
And the receiving of the documentation and
Absolutely.
so forth, so we can see what's going on.
Absolutely, which lets us know what we need to account for and forecast for going forward.
I know we're coming up on a break here, and you're going to watch that, but I want us to talk about our seminar and the results that we've had recently.
Yeah.
You're
so
up for that.
I'm loving it, because we've got some people there that are doing some tremendous things with us and for themselves, and we'll get to them right after the break, so let's do that.
We'll Buy Your House. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
Welcome back to Real Estate 360. Steve Connolly and
Jason O'Miles. Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Hey, before the break, I was talking about our seminar that we do, the little 2-hour seminar, and the results that we're having. And I just want to say one thing. We got one guy that had a testimonial that said, you know what? I got more out of this 2 hours of just pure real estate investing information than I got out of a 3-day real estate course that he took.
That's right, because there's actionable information there. It's not, there's no upsell, right, in this particular scenario. And even if there were an upsell, our goal is to make sure that people can leave there and go take action right away. I mean, immediately. Sometimes, people want to do some other things. They want to learn more. They want to know what their options can be. They want to be mentored, things of that nature. But the reality of it is, when they come to these events, they get to learn how to do something or how to do something better than they've already been doing it. Because we open it up to questions from the people that are there and say, hey, listen, what are you doing that you need help with? Or is there something, a deal that you have on the table right now that you're having a problem with? What's going on with you? And they can get those answers instead of waiting for it to come up in another day in another part of the, the event, if you will.
And, you and I forget that people don't know what we know. I mean, I tend to forget that.
I know I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, and so I'm thinking, okay, you bring me this situation, if they say no to this, and I'm going to gather some more information and see if there's another way to put the thing together.
That's right.
But most people go to these seminars and so forth, and they're taught one thing, maybe wholesale and the numbers, and then after that, what do? They don't know what to do next.
Yeah, but you also raised a very good point while we were at the event, actually, that when you're looking at deals, and if you're only familiar with looking at it in one way,
right,
through one pair of eyes, you're going to miss everything else. You're going to miss other opportunities. We were talking about doing deals in lower valued, turning, up and coming areas, as opposed to doing deals in more established areas where values are what they are. It's a sought after area. People want to be there. Those numbers don't necessarily gel. So if you're looking at buying a property, at 70% of the ARV minus renovation cost minus, potential profit, that is probably not going to work in a very sought after area. I mean, you'd be very, very lucky if that deal actually worked.
So
with
what
those
you're
numbers.
saying is that in the up and coming areas, it's easier to get the wholesale numbers to fit in to what the lenders will lend money on.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean,
Okay.
very, very well said, by the way.
Thank you.
I'm impressed.
I made it up as I was going. You can probably tell.
But that is 100% correct. I mean, talk about that deal that you were looking at, kind of just in short about
in the East Cobb.
That's the one, yeah.
Okay, so it was a referral. Somebody I go to these networking things. Actually, I run a networking group called USA Business Connect in Alpharetta. It's the Alpharetta chapter. We have one chapter.
And it just so happens to be the Alpharetta chapter.
It's the Alpharetta chapter.
You have a captive audience.
Yeah, that's right. USA. Maybe one of these days, I'll come up with something to make it, spread it out.
That's right.
But so I mentioned that, I buy and sell houses, and somebody mentioned it to somebody else, and then she called me, and it turns out I knew her anyway, you know. And so it's a really nice little neighborhood. It's all contemporary houses in East Cobb. And, East Cobb is pretty, let's say, economically stable, like you just said.
Yeah.
So people are willing to come into those areas and pay a lot more, even for houses that need work, than they would, say, in the areas that we typically work in, the up-and-coming areas.
Right.
And so I went over and looked at the house that needs. If I were going to crunch my numbers the way I normally do, so it's about a $300,000 ARV
After repair value.
After repair value, thank you. So there you go. I'm thinking everybody knows. Okay, automatically, you know what an ARV is. No, not necessarily. Okay, so after repaired value, $300,000, and so I'm going to do my 70%. So that's $210.
Mm-hmm.
Is where I start with doing my numbers, and I like the round numbers because I can do them all in my head.
That's right.
Super fast. And then walk through the house and, with my abacus, also known as my 10 fingers, that's $1,000. This is $1,000. Oh, look, it's going to cost $50,000 to do this renovation.
All right.
And so subtract 50 from 210, you get
160.
160. Is that right?
That is right. You are correct, sir.
Now, if we were going to wholesale that, then we'd have to subtract even more money.
That's right. You got to count your profit if you're going to wholesale it.
Exactly. But right then and there in the East Cobb, somebody's going to come in and pay a lot more money than 160 or 150 or 100 anything.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of ways to look at this house, and as Scott Bowen says, you can come in and knock the ugly off of it, and just turn around and resell it. So that means go spend a few dollars on maybe painting or fixing the yard or putting in central heat and air or replacing the central heat and air, putting a new roof, those kinds of things.
Mm-hmm.
Painting the inside is always, you get a lot of bang for your buck on the painting.
Mm-hmm.
And so I threw out my 70% and all that, just threw it all out and just said, okay, what are the numbers and what can I work with on fixing it and knocking the ugly off and trying to make a little margin on it instead of trying to, make the 70% and so forth. And sometimes even at the 70%, these hard money guys will come in and look at it and say, maybe you're not putting enough money in for your renovation costs, which I've done that a few times. Maybe you're looking at a higher ARV after repaired value than the market really dictates. And sometimes those hard money guys will say, listen, we'll do this loan for you, but you might not be making any money.
Right.
Because things go wrong.
That's
maybe
right.
you have to replace a roof for $14,000 you weren't planning on.
Yeah, man.
Anyway, so I made the offer. At $205 because I'm thinking, okay, 70%. I can come in and spend $5,000 or so and spruce it up a little bit, 5 or 10. Go over those numbers, and see what happens. So I sent an offer in earlier this week for that, and I got an email back this morning. You don't know about that.
No.
She said, well, thanks for your offer, but
Uh-oh.
yes,
Uh-oh.
her husband had gotten offers in that were, a good bit higher than my offer.
Yeah.
Which, I kind of expected it, I
Yeah.
think-
And those are going to be from homeowners that want to be in that school district,
exactly.
that want to be in that neighborhood, that want to be in that zip code,
Yeah.
and they're willing to, spend $250,000 on this house, or whatever the offers were, and then systematically, paint and do the kitchen and do the floors.
Handyman.
Yeah.
Handyman special.
That's right.
That's what we used to call them back in the 50s. I don't know what they call them these days.
Well, they still say it on the bandit signs.
Now, wait a minute. Let me back up. Back in the 50s, I was not doing houses in the 50s, so let's get that off the table.
Well, it wasn't
right
until
now.
the 60s.
No, I wasn't.
It wasn't until the 60s.
I wasn't even in school. Come on, give me a break. Anyways, but handyman specials, absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. So now, she sent me that email. Now, what would most people do?
They would say, okay, and back away from that deal.
Absolutely. Guess what I did?
Took a backup offer or put in a different offer altogether.
Instead of that, I could have certainly done that. But instead of that, I said, well, let me find out what I'm up against.
Yeah.
So I sent her back. I said, okay, great. This is fantastic. Would you like to counter my offer?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that, it's going to be a little bit more than what they're getting from these other offers.
Right.
And if it's, $299,000, I'll know, okay,
I'm out of here.
I'm done, Stick me with a fork.
That's right.
I'm done. So.
But you bring up a really good point there, and that has to do with the negotiations. More often than not, it actually drives me crazy when this happens. When this happens, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
As a wholesaler, as a retailer, whatever it is you're selling for that matter, right? When we put properties out there and people call us and they say, I like the property, but I don't like it at the price you have it. Now, I'm someone who's not going to necessarily negotiate with myself.
No.
I'm wanting this person to say, here's what it is good for me at. Let's start the process. If you see something that you like and the numbers are slightly off, make an offer because you don't know what that seller is truly willing to accept. But if you don't put yourself in the mindset first and foremost to say, okay, well, let's begin the negotiation process, you're never going to wind up with a deal unless it's the perfect timing. It's the perfect price, and you were the one person that saw it before everyone else and got your offer in and your contract signed before anyone could really come in, assuming that you're dealing with, a credible person, because a lot of times you can put in your verbal offer and they'll say, okay, great, send me the contract. But while you're preparing the contract and emailing it over or sending it via DocuSign or whatever service you might use, someone else might be on the phone with them offering them $2,000 more, $5,000 more, and they accept it before they sign yours. You don't know if that's going to happen. So you got to kind of act. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. As we said before, we live in a time now where you really do have to create your opportunities.
Yeah.
Because the deals aren't necessarily there. So knowing that you have to create your opportunities, if you see a deal and you like the deal, you like the house that's in a great place, make an offer and do what Steve just said.
And do it in writing.
Absolutely.
And I know we're coming up on a break, but there's a couple of topics I want us to cover in the next segment. One of those is I listen to stuff on YouTube, and there's this guy that has a nickname called the Mad Mystic of 48th Street. So I want to talk about
That's
him.
not short.
Just a little bit, no. And then I want to talk about negotiating and what you were talking about on the contract that I was just working on yesterday. Actually.
All right. Yeah. Listen, there's a ton of stuff that we're going to be able to talk about, and I hope you guys you're taking notes. If not, go back and listen to this, listen to the podcast, listen to it on YouTube. But we got to take a break. We'll be right back. Do you need to sell your house? Well, our company will buy your house. We make the process very fast, very easy, and it's all cash. All you have to do is give us a call today.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Si habla español, llámanos, call us today.
All right, we are back. We are back. All right, Steve, we talked about a lot of stuff. We have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
You brought up a couple great points that we're going to talk about in this segment and beyond.
Okay. Yes, and beyond. I like the beyond part. So this week, people don't know what other people are thinking usually.
Yeah.
So this guy, I've been going back and forth with him for like a few weeks on this one particular house that we have for sale. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And so he emails me or texts me a couple days ago or late last week. He says, "Hey man, I've got a loan in place. I want to do this house. I want to buy it." And so I said, I'm thinking, okay, wonder why he hasn't bought it. He sent me contracts before, but he hasn't, followed through.
Right.
So I said, "What's missing? What's missing on your side to keep you from buying this house?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Well, I'm short $15,000."
Mm.
I said, "Oh, okay." So then I call you and I find out what the numbers are.
Right.
And I say, how motivated are we to move this? And you say, "We're highly motivated." So we're highly motivated, and that's good. So we talk about it, and I say, well, maybe we can just help him finance it.
Yeah.
Now, that's not something a lot of people are going to think about.
That's right.
He's not going to ask me for that, I don't think.
That's right.
So now there's a couple ways we could certainly handle that. We could put him together with Bob Rich,
Mm-hmm.
Rich Capital Funding. Great name for
And that is his name. That is truly his name. He didn't change it. It is Bob Rich,
Yeah.
and he just so happens to be in the money business.
Yes, sir.
So it's quite a
Now Bob
quite a
could.
thing.
Bob could structure a joint venture and bring in $15,000 from another investor.
Mm-hmm.
That might take a little bit more time than we're interested in doing.
Right.
And so we said, well, we've got enough in this. Maybe we can just finance it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I said, well, how about so I sent it back to him. I said, how about if we just carry a second mortgage? Will your lender allow that?
Mm-hmm.
His hard money lender. And so he said, yeah, my hard money lender will allow that. So I wrote up the contract, sent it to him yesterday.
Right. And those are great ways to do a couple different things, especially knowing the hard money lender is going to be a local lender.
Right.
Here we have a situation where we've created a little bit. I mean, it's not much, but a little bit of additional income,
Right.
on a month-to-month basis, because there's going to be probably some points, probably a little bit of interest, maybe not, but there's the potential for that to be the case.
Potential.
Right? And then you also have money coming in the future. But here's the kicker for me. The kicker for me in being that second mortgage holder is that if we structure those payments and they don't get paid, we have leverage to foreclose on that and go and buy the first at the discounted price because he's put something down on this thing.
Right.
And if he's not current with that lender, we could probably negotiate a way for them to give it to us at a little bit of a discount, and we can sell it again somewhere else. I mean, I've done that.
Absolutely. We could be a debtor in possession.
That's right. It happens all the time. And it's very, very easy to work with our local lenders as they know who we are, so.
And this house has a ton of potential equity in it because it just needs a lot of work.
Absolutely.
And it's in the gentrifying up and coming areas.
That's right. I mean, listen, where do you get houses for, $85,000, $90,000, $100,000? You can stick
even 150.
Yeah, but in this case, though, it's fantastic.
I know.
We're watching values in that particular neighborhood go up. I mean, they've gone up steadily for 3 years, significantly. I don't even want to say steady because, it's gone up. But the jumps in value are absolutely just
I've never seen anything
unbelievable.
Move so fast.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And just to put it in perspective, when we started buying over there, we were buying houses for, $30,000. Some people bought them for less than that bought, right after the crash.
Oh, I know.
But we were buying, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 houses that needed a lot of work. Those same houses now are selling for, anywhere between $100,000 and $160,000, depending on the size of them,
Yes.
that need substantial work. This one in particular, someone's going to pick this thing up for, $85,000, $90,000. They're going to dump roughly $100,000 into it. but they've got values over there that are in excess of $300,000. Now, those are the picture-perfect deals, provided you can get the work done in a timely manner.
Yes.
I mean, even then, there's so much meat on the bone there. You know, even if it wound up taking a little bit longer,
Yeah.
there's well over $100,000 in gross potential profit. Well over. There's an appraisal on a property on the exact same street, 3 or 4 blocks down,
Yes.
blocks down,
Yes.
for over $360,000, same square footage.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible.
So there's potentially some pretty good profit there.
Absolutely. You know, and some would wonder, hey, listen, well, why would you sell it for so cheap?
Yeah.
Well, our business is to make money based on our model and what we see. And then when we've priced it and had it out there for, you know, $90,000, $100,000, whatever it is, you know, we're not going to take it back off the market and come back in and charge you $120,000 and start this whole marketing process all over again. Our job is to sell properties as fast as possible, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're a retailer or wholesale. We have a volume business.
It's one of our divisions, if you will.
Absolutely.
It's our wholesaling division.
That's exactly right.
And so what's our job in the wholesaling division? It's to provide little miniature business opportunities for investors.
That's right.
Every single house, I look at it like, oh, here's a business opportunity for you. It's a short-term, 6 to 12-month business opportunity. You're going to be in it, and then you're going to sell your business at the end of it and be out.
That's right.
So what are the numbers? That's all you need to know.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And the reality of it is if we sit back and we make you $100,000, we didn't actually make it for you. We provided you with the opportunity to make it. The likelihood for those buyers to come back to us is very, very high because they say, look, these guys are selling deals that actually make money. Their numbers are right. The renovation costs are right. I mean, the packages that we deliver in a lot of cases, like in this one, are so solid. This is a property that comes with architectural drawings already. That's saving someone thousands of dollars.
Yes.
The survey is in place. That's $1,200. You know, these things are saving you time and they're saving you money. That's 3 weeks of savings right there.
But, that's great. The money is great. But I think what it does, from my perspective, and yours too, I know, is bridge the gap between understanding of what it is and what it can be, because people just don't have any vision.
Right.
I'm sorry, you
That's
people
true.
out there have no vision. I'm just telling you.
You're brutal, brother. You're brutal.
It's true. 98% of the folks I talk to just can't see, what we see.
Yeah.
And and that's really what this is. This is where we fit into solving a problem.
That's right.
And I was really frustrated with that for a long time. I said, "Wait a minute, why can't you see this?" And they could only see a dilapidated house.
Yeah.
I understand that now, but it took me. I went through a while with just being frustrated and angry about that. Let's just get real.
It's that internal anger.
That's right.
You're mad at everything outside of you, but it's only on the inside of you.
Of course, it's all on the inside. But but finally I said, okay, I got to let this go, and then I said, oh, wait a minute, this is not a curse; it's a blessing. It's a gift. The curse and gift blessing thing.
That's right.
Back and forth. It's it's a gift. No, it's a curse. But so it's a gift, and so now I'm thinking, okay, it's a gift to be able to see this, and now how do I best take that and then present it so that other people can see it? And the survey and the business, the architectural drawings and all that, all of a sudden help people bridge that understanding gap.
That's right, because they can see something that isn't necessarily visible for everyone.
Right.
My process. I walk through a house. We go to a house for the first time. I walk around the house, and then I go back to the front door, and then I walk back through the house with, it's like the Matrix is going on in my head. I'm looking at everything in ones and zeros. This is what it could be. We're going to move this wall. It's going to go over here. We're going to add this. The ceiling's going to be that. I mean, I can see it. I can visualize it. I'm in a place mentally. I'm in a zone, and I'm saying, okay, here's what it's going to take to get this house to be worth the comps that we see. This is what it needs to look like. And room by room, here's what it's going to cost us to get that done. And we're walking out of there. When we walk into a place with a house with an or with a seller, they're getting that offer right there on the spot.
Absolutely.
There's no, let me go back to the house and let me go talk to so-and-so. We've got an opportunity right there, right then and there. If you don't take that opportunity right then and there, once you've set that appointment up and you know what you're doing and you've got that process going, however it builds for another person, if you don't place that offer right there, you have simply just wasted an opportunity.
Yeah.
And you've opened the door for other guys like you and I to come in and just swoop the deal away.
Absolutely. So you don't need to call your partner or your lender or anything.
You
like
know,
that.
I got to tell you, if you have a partner,
Yeah.
And you don't trust your partner, you shouldn't have a partner.
No, I don't mean that. I mean trusting yourself.
Well, you got to trust yourself, true enough. But you also have to trust your partner. When we're out, I can't call you every time I want to make a deal, and you can't call me every time you want to make a deal. I have to trust you
Yeah.
that you know what you're doing, and you have to trust me that I know what I'm doing. Not that we're, batting 1,000 every time.
No, we're not,
But we make money together and we take our lumps together because we're in business together, and that's what it takes. So if I can't, and that's not to say that there haven't been calls between one another
Yeah.
while we're on a walkthrough,
Of course.
or
Yeah.
even before. Hey, look, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the comps are kind of all over the place. Tell me what you think.
Yeah, what do you see?
Yeah.
Well, let me pull up Zillow and see what I see.
Exactly. So those conversations do exist, but when you're out there in the field, man, you have to take action. As they say now, got to take massive action. Got to take massive action. If you're not taking action, you are doing this wrong.
We'll buy your house. Click 833willbuy.com. That's 833WELLBUY.com.
Or call 833-WILL-BUY.
Se habla español, llámanos, call us today.
All right, we are back. Now, let's get to it.
Yeah, let's do it.
We've got this wonderful, wonderful person that has come to every single one of our events since January.
What events?
These wonderful trainings that we do once a month right here in Atlanta, Georgia. Technically it's Smyrna. Smyrna, as I like to say. But she's great. She is consistent, which is what it takes to truly find your way in this business. She asks questions.
Right.
She calls. She emails. She follows up. She truly wants to win.
Yeah. So now she called me up, and honestly, she called me at kind of the wrong time, and I kind of blew her off a little bit. But she called you, and you took her under her wing, and
You mean under my wing?
yes, under your
Yeah,
wing.
my big, massive wing. If you're
That's
watching
right.
the video, look at that. The gun show, baby.
Okay, whatever. Listen, for you guys that are listening, unfortunately, at this point, there's no reason to go watch.
He's not lying. He's not lying.
So you took her under your wing, and I get my pronouns correct, and y'all did something pretty unique, I think.
Yeah, we did. She went out. She'd come to a couple events at that point, and she went out there and she started to do her marketing. And she met a gentleman who represented a group of owners in a townhouse, or half of a townhouse development,
Right,
if you will.
okay.
And they wanted to sell. They wanted out. And she didn't know how to package the deal. She didn't know how to solidify herself in the deal. What was really fortunate for her is the gentleman, the representative of the owners, is a guy that operates with integrity. And he's not he's not new to this by any stretch of the imagination. But at the same time, he's not, the most sophisticated real estate investor there is on the planet either.
Right.
And that's not a shot at him, because none of us really are.
No.
So he just knows what he knows. And that's pretty much the extent of it.
See, if you wear a tie like this and a jacket,
The perception is you know everything.
then you are the most sophisticated real estate investor
right.
on the planet.
That's exactly right. You are what you say you are. We have learned that from our illustrious
And
leader.
remind me, we got to get back to the Mad Mystic.
Oh, yes. Yes. So she said, look, I got this deal. I just don't know. I don't know how to value these properties. There's some burn damage. I don't know what we need to do to renovate them. I am at a loss. Can you help? Absolutely. Let's go. Let's look at it. And in looking at it, I called you right away. I said, Steve, there is an opportunity here.
Yes, you did. And I looked at it and I said, yeah, I said, hell yes. Or
Absolutely.
something like that.
I mean, and
I might be paraphrasing.
I think it was something very close to that. And so I helped her structure the deal, not being greedy, knowing that we were going to find our way into this deal.
Yeah.
But I helped her structure a deal that put her in the deal so she could make, a little bit of money. And I walked her through the negotiations with him. We put the deal together. Once she had it in place, we made our offer a couple days later, because, of course, we know the numbers. And here's a deal where she's going to make, it's somewhere around $15,000.
Wow.
She's going to make somewhere around, but there's much meat on the bone.
Shouldn't we renegotiate that with her?
I wish we should have. I wish we could have. But, it's a deal where there's so much meat on the bone that she can make that money and we can make the money that we want to make as well, because this is a property that we were going to actually keep and, buy and hold and rent out. It's 5 units, so on and so forth. But then, of course, we went on to buy larger multifamily, so it kind of doesn't make sense for us to hold on to it. So we are, in turn, wholesaling that property to another group of investors and making a tidy little profit on it as well.
Yes, we are.
But the whole point of this is, here we have a client or a student or a partner, if you will, that has consistently shown up to get the education. Every single month, she shows up, even though she knows she can just call us and email us.
Right.
She doesn't know who she's going to meet there. She doesn't know what she's going to learn when she comes, so she wants to be there. She wants to be active, and she wants to be involved, and that's what it takes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it takes. If you're going to do anything, you have to get in it. You can't just stick your toe in the water. You got to jump in. As I like to say, you don't know how to do all of a thing to do any of that thing. You got to jump in there and believe in your team and believe in the processes, because it's the process that will take you there. And it's no different today than it was 30 years ago.
Numbers are a little different.
That's it.
Probably, the economy is a little different. But let me ask you, did she work like 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for the last 6 months on this transaction?
Absolutely not. She called the guy. I think it took her a week or a week and a half maybe to come up with the lead.
Yeah.
By the time she called me, she had already been talking to the guy for a few days. 2 days after that, there was a deal. So,
Right.
The deal was in 2 weeks. She had a deal in 2 weeks, and she probably worked on this all of 2 or 3 hours a week,
Okay. So kind of a part-time job, sort of?
if you can
For
even call it
a
that.
part-time temporary job. I'm
Right.
just creating some contrast.
Yeah, absolutely.
So suppose she had worked on it for 8 hours a day for 6 months.
Be a very low-paying job.
15,000.
30,000 a year.
30,000 a year.
Yeah.
How many people make 30,000 a year, doing that
Yeah.
for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, $30,000?
A few realtors, maybe.
A lot. Of course, a lot of them are just checking their email over and over again.
That's exactly right.
But so it's not a bad. But she only worked on it for 10, 15 hours?
Yeah, if that. And then
If
the rest of
that.
the work we did.
Yeah, we did the rest. So she's going to make $15,000, so roughly $1,000 an hour. That's not a bad part-time job.
No, not at all. Not at all. And
Yeah.
not only did she bring that opportunity, find and bring that opportunity to us,
Right.
she did another one.
She did. She brought it this past Saturday.
Yeah.
And you were busy. And so she and I have been talking ever since I blew her off and I brought her back.
I'm glad you can admit to it.
Yeah, I did. And so we've been talking, and then Saturday she shows up with this other transaction where she's found this seller in the area that we really love it.
Yes.
We do love this area. It's West End. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
a lot of West End you got to be really careful with because it could be historic and you can stump your toe with the city so bad down there. It's
You
not
can
even
lose your foot.
funny. Yeah, you can lose the whole thing.
That's rough.
Yes. Anyway, but she brought this one, and it's a great house. I mean, it's a 2-story bungalow. It's just exactly what you want.
Yeah.
And the seller has been back and forth, bankruptcy, foreclosure. I'm not sure. I'm just throwing things out.
It's a collection of every negative thing that could pop up.
Exactly. But he bought it, and at about the right time. So he's not in it for too terrible much money. And so she was saying, "How do I structure this?" But the loan was like a really low interest rate and a fairly small balance. And I'm thinking, wow, and the price on it, what he was willing to sell it for, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking you can do anything you want with
Yeah.
this, anything. So she said, well, how do I structure it? How do I write it? So I said, okay, we'll do this. And it doesn't much matter, because he wanted like a chunk of money right now, so up front. And I said, well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Let's see if we can structure it so it's not so painful for us on the front end.
That's right.
And keeps him in the game a little bit. So we structured a purchase price and a cash out to him of less money than he was asking. He was like asking 40 or 50,000. So we suggested 10,
right?
Which is plenty, to get him moved on. And he needs money now. He's going to need money later, like all of us, right?
That's right.
So, but there was a chunk that he was going to have to bring to the bank to reinstate it.
Mm-hmm.
Almost 20 grand. So we structured that we would take care of that. And so she wrote it up. I told her how to write it up. And I said, put some cap limits on it in terms of the mortgage amount so that, we're not caught off guard.
Mm-hmm.
And then put a 14-day due diligence period in there so we can see what happens. And so she wrote it up, did exactly what I said.
Mm-hmm.
Took it down there and got it signed.
And this is a deal she's going to make, what, $5,000 more on?
Exactly, yeah.
In maybe 30 days?
Saturday at the seminar, I said, you write this up like this and you get it signed, we'll buy it. We'll pay you $5,000.
That's right.
Assignment fee.
That's right. And so I just want to throw this in there for a second. I mean, how many seminars have any of you listeners or viewers gone to? I don't care who it is. I don't care how big the name is you can think of, right? Any one of them, whether they're local or national or international organizations that are teaching and training you how to do these things. How many of them have you gone to, learned the process, implemented the process? Not only did those trainers and those teachers or those gurus, whatever you want to call them, teach you how to do it, but they went out and looked at the property with you, taught you how to negotiate it, negotiated it with you, told you exactly what to do, did deals with you, and put money in your pocket. I mean, and honestly. Now, and it's not a matter of, putting yourself in harm's way, because that's why a lot of them say they don't do it, right? This is about truly educating people. We didn't go into this making her any promises. We didn't go into it telling her that we were going to buy this property from her.
Not at all.
We were in it to make sure that she had an opportunity to go and make money. It just so happened that those opportunities were with us.
Yes.
Now, as she increases her ability to locate real estate, we're not going to be her only buyers.
No, we're not.
We wouldn't want to be. So this is an opportunity. What we're giving you here on this show is an opportunity for you to go out right now and start to make money. Whether that's making money with us, selling our stuff, we're buying stuff from you, or you're doing it on your own. If you take this information and you apply it, take massive action, you're going to win. My name is Jason Miles. This is Real Estate 360.